Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo, and we're here today to talk about Evolve, being the latest game by Turtle Rock Studios, the same team that brought us Left 4 Dead. Evolve is a 4 vs 1 multiplayer experience, where one person plays as the monster, and the other 4 players play as hunters, essentially flying down to these random planets to hunt down and eliminate whatever, the monster happens to be, or whoever is playing the monster. That is basically the main concept of the game. For those who don't understand how it works, the monster has 3 evolutions that it can actually go through. So, as the hunters are moving around the environment attempting to hunt down the monster at the same time is trying to eat wildlife and kill wildlife, not just to grow and evolve, but also to gain buffs that will help him in combat against the hunters. Once the monster reaches stage 3, they can actually take down a power relay, which will also cause the hunters to lose. So there's sort of 2 ways that the monster can win. He can either kill all the hunters, or he can take down the power relay at level 3. Now at level 1, the monster is rather weak, and usually does not want to engage any of the hunters, because that's going to allow his shield to be destroyed rather quickly. And once the monster starts to take really heavy critical damage, he will lose the ability to use some of his abilities, such as Rock Throw or Flames. Of course, there are going to be different monsters when the full game releases. The alpha currently contains the Kraken once you unlock him, and the classic Goliath that we've seen, and also that you're seeing here in this gameplay. Now, I didn't want to talk so much about strategy or tips or anything like that. I actually want to talk about my time with the alpha, as it stands currently in the big alpha, and also the alpha that I got to play in the past. Now that the NDA has been lifted, we can finally talk about the game, because I did actually play quite a bit of Evolve. I think I have around 10 hours in the game now, so I got pretty addicted to it, and I spent a lot of time playing as the monster, mostly because I didn't actually have a group of friends who were in the alpha, and I still currently don't have a full group of friends in the alpha to actually play the hunter. But that did give me a little bit to say about the hunters and about how I think that's going to play out, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Let's talk about the monster. From the monster's perspective, playing as the monster in Evolve, it felt almost very much like a MOBA in a way. I know, as weird as that sounds, because it doesn't really share too many of the characteristics with the classic MOBA, but the big thing for me was the idea that I'm going around feeding, trying to become more powerful, which, for those of you who know, depending on what role you play inside of a MOBA, that is often the main goal. One of the main goals is to get CS, or, gold, last hit on monsters, to become more powerful. And acquiring certain monsters on the battlefield in something like Dota or League of Legends will also grant you buffs or perhaps gold for your entire team. In this case, the monster is working alone, but it sort of works the same. There are certain higher level monsters that you can find on the different maps that, when eliminated, will give you things like health buffs or regeneration buffs that are really actually key, depending on just how strong the hunter team is to your success. Of course, if the team that you're playing against has no idea what's going on, much like the team that I was playing against right here, they were very broken up. I ran into the Trapper alone, I ran into the Assault by himself. They were sort of all over the place, and every once in a while they would come together, but ultimately it did lead to their demise. However, if you are going up against a team of hunters that is very well kitted out in terms of team play and strategy, those buffs are going to be critical to your success. That is one thing that I definitely discovered. So, as Evolve grows and as people become more familiar with the maps, I can see that becoming a static thing, where you have certain players who have multiple strategies that they use depending on when they encounter the hunters. I'll take this route, I'll go for that monster first, I'll go for this monster. The large monster, the monster you play is, we'll say Goliath in this case from now on, also has the ability to use stealth, to sneak past certain things. For example, the feeder birds, which sort of just chill out in certain areas of the map. They can give away your position. Stealth is a really great thing, though, that you can use to sneak past those. There's also things like walking through water that the monster can use to sort of break the trail, because as long as the Trapper's pet is alive, it will always be able to track your feet on the ground. So that's one of the advantages that the hunters have in terms of tracking the monster. So doing things like going through a creek, using stealth to try and sort of break that pattern and really lose the hunters can give the monster a big time advantage. Big time advantage. Now, in terms of entertainment, let's talk, have I been enjoying Evolve? Did I enjoy my time spent with it? I have to say, the fact that I was really stuck just playing the monster because I did not want to play by myself with a bunch of randoms, and when I did try and do that as the hunters, it didn't really pan out well. I found myself just focusing on the monster. I enjoy the monster, I really do. But like 5-6 hours of just playing the monster definitely started to sort of grind on me. You can tell that, in my opinion, the way I looked at the game was like, the monster was sort of taking a break from the normal experience, which would be playing with a group of friends, playing with a solid team, as the hunters. You know, you do that for a while, and maybe your friends get off, and you say, I'll go play the monster for a little bit, and then you hop on by yourself. You know, it's sort of that lone wolf thing. Do I want to do it all of the time? Is it the only thing I want to do and evolve is play the monster? Most definitely not. And I think that's actually fairly good game design, because they've made sure that one thing doesn't appeal more than the other. You know, it's not more fun to be the monster than it is to be the hunters. They're both pretty equally balanced, in my opinion. You know, the hunters have the idea of really rewarding teamwork when you can get it together, and the monster definitely has that satisfaction of just, you know, lone wolfing and not having to worry about anyone else's strategy or anyone else helping you be successful. So I think that right there, I mean, even at an early stage in alpha, we can talk about that, because that's not going to change much. That is the core design element of Evolve, and they've nailed that. They've done that really well. And that was always my concern, that some people were always going to want to play the monster. It was going to be really hard to find good teams, but that definitely does not appear to be the case, at least early on. Hopefully things won't go one way or the other when the full game releases. I imagine they won't, once everybody actually has a good group of friends playing this. And that leads me to talk about a little bit about the hunters. As I said, I haven't got the chance to spend a huge amount of quality time playing as a hunter. I have definitely spent probably 1 or 2 hours playing with randoms. It's been hit and miss. There was a couple times on the PC where I was able to get some people together who were communicating, and we did really well. And then there were times where the people just weren't communicating. You had people who didn't know what was going on, and of course we just got absolutely destroyed by the monster at level 2, and that just did not end well, obviously. So for me, the big thing is going to be, you have to play as a team as the monster, or as the hunters, and I think that no one expected anything less. Like, everyone pretty much knew when this game was coming out, okay, we'll have to work together. It was very similar to the way that the multiplayer mode inside of Left 4 Dead worked. I mean, you had to work as a team on either side. If you didn't, you were going to fail. That's just how it works out. So is this game going to be like the ultimate random, you know, hop into public matches with no ones and have a really great time as the hunters every single weekend? Probably not. Is this the kind of game where you're going to sit down with 3 of your closest friends and you're going to just really put together some solid strategies and have an extremely good time playing as, you know, a really focused team? Yes, that is definitely what Evolve is looking to be. Again, the game's in very early alpha. I'm going to be playing more of it on the Xbox One as well as the PC. You guys can definitely expect to see more footage here. We'll be talking a little bit more about the hunters. I'm hoping that some of my friends are finally getting into the Evolve alpha on the Xbox One, so I'll be able to get some solid, actual team-driven game plan and really kind of see what it's like to put together a cohesive strategy as the hunters against Goliath or the Kraken. If you guys have any questions about Evolve, if there's anything that I didn't talk about here that you'd like to hear me answer, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one.